Hi, I'm Kevin with CenterPoint Archery. Today we're here to talk about the setup process for the AMP 425, AMP 425 with power draw, Heat 425, Heat 425 with power draw, and the Patriot 425. As all these bows work off a very similar platform, and the installation process will be the same for all three. So let's get this unboxed now and show you the process. Okay, now that we've got everything unpackaged from the box, we can begin the installation process. The first step is to locate your cable slide. And you'll notice if you're looking at it, there's a wider opening and a narrower opening. The wider opening always wants to be facing back towards you, the shooter, or towards the buttstock of the bow. First thing you do once you have it oriented properly is connect it onto your cables. Next, you want to grab your joint cap and your joint cap pad, remove the white backing from the pad and affix it to the joint cap. Just set that aside. Next, slide the cable slide into the groove below the rail. Take your joint cap pad, install it over the barrel, firmly against the rail, and then merge the two halves together. Now that you have the halves together, locate your riser bolt screw, insert it into the opening, and begin to snug it down. Take your 3/16 Allen wrench and complete that step. Once it's firmly secured, you can flip the bow over, and we're ready for the next step, which is to install our stirrup. Now that we have the riser fully mounted to the body of the crossbow, the next step before installing your stirrup is you're going to want to install the riser bolt locking screw, which goes in the middle hole here. The outer two most screws will be to install your stirrup, which these will already be inserted into the riser. You may have to back those out some to give you enough clearance. So take your 1/8 Allen wrench along with the small little set screw and install that riser bolt set screw in the middle hole. This ensures that your riser bolt doesn't back out on you. Once that's firmly seated, locate your stirrup. The stirrup post will go into the two holes. And again, using your 1/8 Allen key, secure those down. Now your stirrup is fully installed onto your crossbow. And the next step is we're going to mount our quiver bracket on the lower Picatinny rail on the crossbow. I want to locate the two bracket halves and align them as shown like this so they're smooth. Next, take your two screws, insert it into the two halves. Next, you'll find two little locking washer nuts with a nylon bushing. Insert those into the grooves, making sure that the nylon portion is facing back towards you. Once you have those seated, begin to hand tighten the screws into place, just enough to hold all the parts together. From there, install it onto the Picatinny rail on the bottom, and taking your 5/32 Allen key, secure those into place. From there, locate your quiver, release the locking bracket, slide the two halves together, lock it back into place. Okay, our next step, now that we have our quiver mounted, is going to be to mount the scope on the upper Picatinny rail of the crossbow. Locate your scope, back off the thumb screws a little bit, and affix it to the top of the rail. Normal eye relief is anywhere from 3 to 4 inches on your scope, so once you've found that comfortable area for you, and you're sure that you can see clearly through your scope, snug it down, so it's firmly seated, but do not over tighten. Now your scope is completely mounted onto your crossbow, and you're ready to take it outside and get the bow sighted in. The final step for those models that come with the power draw cranking feature is you want to install the power draw bracket onto the buffer tube. Expose the buffer tube by sliding your buttstock back. Locate the two halves for your bracket. Slide the bottom half on, then the top half. Grab the screws, drop those into the holes, and then with your 1/8 Allen key, tighten them down. This bracket can stay on the bow at all times. There's no need to keep removing it and reinstalling it. Now that the bracket's installed in the buffer tube, to install your power draw, insert the stem into the opening. Make sure your cables run unobstructed over the scope. Align the sled onto the string, and you're all set to go. For more information on the power draw, please refer to the instruction manual that's included in the box with the power draw cranking system. Now that the assembly process is completed, please review your owner's manual one last time before taking the bow afield to sight it in to understand all the warnings that are listed in there. And if you have additional questions, please go to CenterPointArchery.com.